afternoon, everybody. Eric with American Business Systems. Want to be able to welcome you this afternoon and thank you for joining us this afternoon. Obviously, we're going to be talking about what is the best home-based business to start in today's COVID world. I'm going to tell you that, a lot of people might think about right now that now is probably not the best time to start any particular business, but I would say that would be correct if it wasn't in healthcare. Because what we have in that we are going to share with you today will literally show you why it's a great time to still own a home-based business, and you are teaming up with the right company, which is American Business Systems. So again, my name is Eric Auger. I am the Director of Research and Development here, and like Patrick and I were talking about, what is really my title here? It's whatever they ask me to do. So I'm happy to be able to do it. So, but American Business Systems has been around for the last 26 years, and it's amazing how quickly this year is going by. And before you know it, ABS will have the big 3-0 up there before we know it. And any business that's been in business for over 10 years is doing pretty well, let alone over 25 years. We're going to share with you some new components of all of the additional packages. So we've kind of got this one up here just to show you that this is where we are, where we were, and we're going to actually show you where we've gone to with some of our services and what's going on with that. Obviously, the heart of everything that we do is in medical billing. So we are going to talk to you about the award-winning medical billing platform and the electronic medical records platform. Everything's in here, every code that you might need. A lot of stuff that again, it's with some of our new services is all integrated inside of our EMRX and iClaim platform. And here is where we're going. So you can see that we've changed from where we were to where we're going because we've added some more things here. And one of the top ones that you see up at the top is telehealth, and we're going to talk to you about that today. Before we get into the meat of the webinar this afternoon, I'm going to introduce you to Patrick Phillips, who is our founder and CEO. He is an author, best-selling author, may I say. He has written his own books and has co-authored several books. The one that we're going to talk about today is that one in the middle, the New Thriving Medical Practice. He is also a member of the editorial board for the Billing and Coding Advantage magazine. And without any further ado, and have somebody to talk to, let's get Patrick on here. Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Eric. How's it going out there in North Fort Worth?
Everything's well. We're COVID-free.
Good. No dry coughing. No fever.
Dry coughing.
That's good. All right.
We're all good to go.
Well, Eric, this is an exciting time for our licensees. Our licensees right now are busier than they've ever been, as you can imagine, because they're helping doctors to see more patients, to collect more money, and do all those things that we do for doctors that they need help with. And so, folks, if you're looking to get into a home-based business, like Eric said earlier, nothing better than being in healthcare. That's kind of like the big thing right now. And doctors need lots of help. So we're here to show you how to participate in that. And if you build it like most of our licensees do, you can have a nice, comfortable income working in your pajamas.
There you go. Now, we're talking about home-based businesses. Patrick, I mean, this is some new statistics here. Even during the COVID season here, of what we're going through, we've had to kind of blow up what was this whole big old infographic thing, but we thought we'd show a couple of significant numbers here. And Patrick, let's kind of go through this. A brand new home business is started about every 12 seconds.
Yeah, so folks, you're not alone. The 7,200 businesses started every day in America, 300 every hour, and what is that, 12 every 5 minutes?
Yeah.
And that's a $427 billion industry, folks, home-based businesses. So it's nothing to sneeze at. And by the way, Eric, I think you'd only need just a tiny little slice of that pie
right.
to be very comfortable.
you bet. And obviously, again, there is a boom for home-based businesses, especially now. I mean, some folks have been furloughed. Some people have been laid off. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do. The big thing is, the other thing is, if we end up going through another lockdown that we've kind of all gone through, even though some of the states are sort of opening up, doesn't mean that we may not go through something like this again. And then what's going to happen if you're still in that same job that you were, and then you're thinking about, man, I should have done something when I could have.
Yes, now is the time, folks, to get trained, get all your tools put together, set up your company name. Look, that's part of our training, by the way. We'll take you step by step through that process of starting your own business, from picking out your company name, very important that you pick the right name and not the wrong name. We've seen some doozies of names, haven't we, Eric, that people pick that we go, no, that just won't work. Then
Right.
logos, websites, all those things, folks, setting up a virtual phone system so you can run your phone your business right from your cell phone with a separate number that rings on your cell phone and shows you that, oh, it's a business call coming in. So there's little things like that that we teach that will give you that comfort level that we have a true system that if you implement it and can follow instructions, you too can start your own home-based medical billing business.
Well, we obviously, we kind of entitled the whole thing, what is the best home-based business to start in a COVID world? And we think that what we have right now is probably has some of the best opportunities that you can actually have. Let's just kind of talk about what's really happening right now. So, folks, if you don't know really what's happening to the medical world, doctors have struggled to some to keep their doors open simply because they've got a smaller volume of patients right now. That doesn't mean that they're going to stay that way. And with some of those doctors that have had a lower volume of patients, we've actually, with our licensees, have been able to keep those up because we have two types of telehealth programs. One that's actually embedded into our iClaim EMRX platform. So those doctors that are being serviced by our licensees already have that, and so we just got them really cranked up on that. Then we've got some doctors that may not be utilizing iClaim or EMRX right now, and so we have a completely separate telehealth platform that they can use, and so it's kind of like agnostic to anything. So Patrick, with the opportunities that are right here in front of us, we're actually seeing growth with our licensees, and even with some of our new licensees that didn't feel like they could get anything out the door, so to say. They are truly utilizing all of our opportunities here to actually get business in their pipeline.
Yeah, every one of these ancillary services that are illustrated here on these boxes, folks, these are all services that you can offer to doctors that help them with their revenue in one way or another. And you don't have to offer any of them, of course, they're all optional, but they come as a part of our package. Our license fee, that's $28,000, includes not just the ability to do the billing for the doctors and give them an electronic medical record system, that's the iClaim EMRX that you see there, but you can also help them with all sorts of other aspects of their practice that they need help with to get the revenue up to where it needs to be. So again, very important time for doctors right now, because like Eric said, with less patients coming in, they need to be able to collect more from the insurance companies and the government agencies and from the patients themselves.
Well, it's all about cash flow, right, Patrick? Cash is like air. You got to have it to stay in business.
Right.
We got to have air to breathe to stay alive. So even for the doctor, if they've got a cash flow crisis, which a lot of doctors have right now, it's because they probably already had some bad billing practices already.
Right.
They may have been using an internal biller, coming just to find out that they haven't been billing properly, or maybe they've outsourced to somebody else who hasn't done a great job of collection.
Yeah.
Well, what a great opportunity for our licensees right now.
It is, folks. You can't be in a better place than selling popsicles in the Sahara Desert. That's what we're doing. You're selling to a doctor the ability to solve their cash flow crisis and help them get more cash in. Bottom line, salvaging some doctors completely, Eric, that would maybe go out of practice if it hadn't been for our licensees out there helping the doctors to collect every penny that's due to them from those dang insurance companies.
That's right. And I tell you, they want to hang on to that money. Those insurance companies want to hang on to that money as long as they feel like they can.
You
But
bet.
really,
Yeah.
what's disturbed to the doctor. But this guy here, Jeff Livingston, who is an MD, obviously talks about that there's a cash flow crisis right smack dab here in the COVID-19 issue. So again, there's some incredible opportunities. Patrick, I just pulled this one, this article just 2 days ago, and talk about the whole thing about telehealth. It's driving a boom in digital communications. Now, what we can't share everything with the people that are on the call today, but one of the things that we're doing here at ABS is showing our licensees right now that the telehealth platform that we have is greater than just having this one-on-one talk with a doctor like what you and I are doing right now. It's moved into what's called a virtual complete care. So imagine that these doctors are finding now that they can increase their revenue. Now, Patrick, I don't know if you know this, but literally, if a doctor were to take their current patient grouping, everybody that they have in their office, the patients that come to see that doctor in their office, if they start putting those patients and start seeing them virtually, those that have certain chronic care issues and they need to manage that, and they need to do annual well visits, and they can do all of that now via the telehealth. We ran the numbers, and just doing that, adding that to their practice, could add a minimum of about $250,000 more in revenue to that practice. So telehealth is driving revenue to a doctor like never before.
Yeah, you talk about we talk about our services as door openers. That means, folks, if you want to get into the doctors and get their attention, telehealth is doing that right now for our licensees and opening up doors like we've never seen before. Eric, and you mentioned to me a couple of licensees that are working right now with big groups of doctors who are ready to move over to telehealth, use our platform to help the doctors. And like you said, Eric, I can't even wrap my brain around the numbers that are there for doctors to generate income, because there are payment systems that the government has made available to doctors who do this remote care for patients, chronic care, for example, and just checking in with patients remotely using just video teleconferencing. It can add, like you said, $20,000, $30,000 a month to a doctor's bottom line. Folks, that's a door opener, believe me.
And if you're thinking about it, so those, this is exciting for Patrick and me, because Patrick, we've been doing webinars for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Or more. And we've brought some great services to what we call our entire American business systems. But because of COVID and because of what we're seeing right now, I don't think we've seen something like this that could generate this type of revenue inside a doctor's office. Plus, if you're doing the billing, you're getting 6% of that. So imagine if you're taking an additional what they currently bring in, which a doctor's office brings in $35,000, $40,000 a month anyway, add another $25,000 to $30,000 on that, you've almost doubled your income with one doctor, because you're servicing that doctor doing the billing.
And Eric, that's just the additional percentage that they get, just like they do on all the money they collect for doctors. But there are also what would we call them? Commissions, bonuses, fees that are also due to our licensees from the fact that the doctor pays, of course, to use this platform. So part of those fees are shared with our licensees as well as ABS. So it's a win-win for everybody.
I'd say, who's ready to sign up? I mean, my goodness, how much more do we have to go in the webinar today? I mean, we're just test this out, and we'll get to that here in a moment. You can see how all of that works. But again, Patrick, the increased opportunities that we're delivering to our licensees is so far beyond what any of our so-called competitors out there in the marketplace can even try to keep up with us.
Yeah, Eric, I don't even consider at this point that we have any competitors because, again, we have so many advantages with a cloud-based system, a true 100% cloud-based system. That and the fact that we have our own clearinghouse that's built into our platform, so you don't have to go look for and decide on which clearinghouse is the best. The advantages are just innumerable, Eric. And then, of course, the fact that we are not a technology company, we don't write the software. We partner with technology partners who provide that for us and our licensees. So we, as a company, focus on what we're best at, and that's learning how to get in and sign up clients, folks. Without somebody that's a marketing partner, you will never have a business. Doesn't matter how good the software is. Ours just happens to be the best platform, we think. But even if you thought you found something else, if you don't have a partner that can help you get clients, you don't have a partner. And we've developed tools, as you'll see in this webinar, that allow you to do that.
Absolutely. Now, folks, don't forget, I'm kind of monitoring the question box. So if you've got any particular questions, feel free to chat with us here. Patrick, let's just move right over into the income potential, because I know we've thrown a lot at these folks today already. We've talked about some money that could be made on the telehealth, but let's just get back to the roots of everything. And that is let's just deal with what is the income potential if I end up doing billing for a particular doctor.
Yeah, so what we've done, folks, is we've just taken some screenshots here of our own website that you see at the bottom of these slides, absystems.com. If for somehow you got on this webinar without going to our website, you need to go there because there's a link at the top there about income, potential income. And on that screen, as you can see, you can actually fill in the numbers that you see here. Eric, why don't you go over those and tell them why we picked these numbers?
Yeah, and so folks, the reason we picked these numbers because the average number of doctors that our licensees currently have right now is about 5 doctors. And we say 5 because there are some that maybe have 2 or 3, but then we have some that have like 50 to 80, So obviously we don't want to blow up the numbers there, but we say on any given particular day, if we kind of did an average number of doctors that each of our licensees have, it's about 5 doctors. Well, each of those doctors are seeing an average of 20 patients a day. Now, folks, when you go to the doctor, it seems like there may be 20 people in the waiting room, on any time that you're going to see the doctor, and you're going, my goodness, what number am I sitting here in this waiting room? But so we're talking about 20 patients a day, 10 in the morning, 10 in the afternoon. So that we're bringing the numbers down as low as possible. And obviously, doctors' offices are open 5 days a week. Some maybe on Fridays a half a day, but typically it's still about 5 days a week. The average charge that we see our billing companies charge an average claim is about 7%. So it could average anywhere from 6 to 8. So again, we use 7. And if you were to pay a cash pay price just to go see the doctor for a sniffle, it's gonna cost you $100 to $150. So again, typically the average claim is about $150. So again, just running through these numbers again, we're gonna take 5 doctors, not 5 practices, but 5 doctors, seeing 20 patients a day, 5 days a week, charging that doctor 7% of the average of $150. We're gonna hit submit, and that will generate approximately an income potential for you of about $22,748 per month. So let that sink in just for a little bit. And Patrick, that is an incredible income for anybody.
Yeah, and folks, the reason why we say gross income is because, of course, with any business, that's not the money you actually put in the bank. You may receive that money, but then, of course, you have expenses for running a business as well. But Eric, I'd say out of $22,748, even if they were just netting half of that, which most of our licensees do, that's still pretty good money. They shouldn't net a whole lot more than that, but I'm just saying that even at half of that, if you take that number, just cut it in half, folks, for most people, that's a pretty decent monthly revenue. And annually, that's like it shows there, $273,000 a year.
Well, and again, I mean, this whole income potential, it's just a potential, obviously. But again, with working with 5 clients, that'll take you about, Patrick, I think we figured this out, that one licensee can handle about 5 or 6 doctors, without having to hire anybody. So that
Right.
means you can handle about 4 to 5 doctors per day. And again, making that kind of money, even if you, like Patrick said, took that in half, then it's still pretty good income here. At least you know that this is over 6 figures. Even if you ended up with just 3 doctors, you're going to be about $115,000 to $120,000 a year in revenue with 3 doctors, and that will take you about 4 hours a day of work. So not too shabby of working about 3 to 4 hours a day.
Yeah, Eric, and I interviewed a licensee, replayed an interview with a licensee last week. This lady and her husband have over 50 clients.
Yeah.
So do the math on that, and that's why they said that they brought in $1.1 million last year. So folks, if you're looking for a 7-figure home-based business, I don't know many that can claim that, Eric.
No.
Yeah.
Muhammad is asking the questions, do you help find client like a doctor? Muhammad, we do, and let me tell you how that's done. A lot of people can say, look, you're gonna buy this business package from us, and then we're gonna give you a list of doctors. Well, what they're gonna do is give you a list of doctors. You could go find a list of doctors on a Google search. Literally, you could go do that. But what we do, we educate you, we train you, as this next slide shows, we certify you as a medical revenue manager, not just a medical biller, but a medical revenue manager. And so Patrick mentioned to you just earlier that some of our services are what's known as door openers. What you need is maybe not to lead out with medical billing, but you may lead out with another revenue stream source for that doctor. It could be doing some audits for their coding, which is Audit Guard. It could be doing some quick collect, which is helping the doctor recoup some of their money of their accounts receivables. Again, we've already mentioned this to you, but imagine that you have enough education, and you're going to see here in a moment some of the other marketing things that we do for you. But imagine that you could show a doctor by adding a couple of services that Medicare wants to pay the doctor. Let me repeat that. Medicare wants to pay the doctor on a monthly basis, and managing about 200 of their patients is going to add another $20,000 to $25,000 a month to them. Do you not think that you're going to get their attention? That's what we help you with in finding clients.
Yes. Very few businesses, Eric, that you can actually offer to your potential client a revenue stream. You're not selling anything unless you're selling money.
Right. You're right. Yeah. So you're going to, after becoming an ABS licensee, you're also going to be becoming a part of what's called MERMA. This is the Medical Revenue Management Association of America, and it is the largest group of independent medical billing companies in the United States. And MERMA itself does some things for you as an ABS licensee that will not do that for any other medical billing company. And we're going to share some of that with you here in just a moment. Obviously, you're going to get a certificate being certified as a certified medical revenue manager. So you can put CRM, certified medical, there it's right there, certified medical revenue, CMRM at the end of your name. I'll get that right. I got too many acronyms and initials in my head.
There's a lot of acronyms in healthcare. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, at least not one of them is the IRS.
Right. And Eric, in addition to all this, folks, we've got a support team behind you that is unbelievable. For example, again, we're the only company that I know of that has a dedicated site that's just specifically for our licensees. It's a private site that you have to have a login to, of course, to be able to get to it. And as soon as you do, look at all the things that are available to you as an ABS licensee. Over 300 business documents that we've spent a lot of money clearing with our attorneys and so forth. Over 100 hours of in-depth training on every aspect of this business. Interviews with successful owners like yourself from across the country that you can watch and get inspired by. Weekly industry updates that happen, and lots of changes happen right now, Eric, in this industry. ongoing training webinars. We do those every other week at this point, Eric. We've got one
Yes.
coming up this Friday, don't we?
Yeah.
Access to a physician partner. Yes, we're going to partner you with a physician. Dr. Vicki Rackner, who's written some of the books that we showed you earlier. And you get to personalize those books as well so that your name is on the front cover. And done for you webinars. Eric, what's a done for you webinar?
Well, I'm kind of glad you asked about that. Imagine, folks, that you're going to get the experts doing a webinar for you. Now, here's what we do. We do the marketing layout for you. So imagine that over here on the left-hand side that you're looking at the screen. So everybody stop looking at all your, COVID-19 videos out there.
Cat videos.
Over here and your cat videos. Come on back to the webinar. We're almost done. We got about 30 more minutes. But look at here, what we've done, we create flyers, marketing flyers for you. So imagine that we produce the artwork for you, and you've got enough room down at the bottom of the page for you to put your contact information. So like Patrick just mentioned to you that you, and he's going to show that to you in a moment, how we get to put your name on a book. Well, we're going to show you how to put your name on these flyers with your marketing information. And you're not selling anything except inviting a doctor to a webinar. Guess what? You don't have to do the webinar because we've already built the webinar slides. And the group from MIRMA is the group that actually produces the webinars for you. So it's not American Business Systems. So nobody knows that you're a part of ABS, but that you're a part of the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. They are the ones that are sponsoring the webinar that you're inviting the doctors to. So imagine that we've got a webinar on HIPAA success, like we did this one this last year.
Yeah.
We did this one, great success. We've got licensees who have signed up their clients utilizing Compliancy Guard, which is another one of our services. And we're going to be doing the same thing here for the telehealth on the virtual, everything on the virtual care. And imagine us and our technology partners coming in. You've got the experts of the experts coming in doing these webinars for you. I mean, Patrick, we ought to be selling this for $28,000 alone.
Well, we really should, because folks, you're watching a webinar done today the way webinars should be done. Would you agree that we're fairly professional in the way we do these, in that we usually have two people that are doing them? We have very professional scripting of each one of the slides. We have developers that develop these slides, these artistic type flyers and slides for us that give you a huge advantage in the marketplace. You don't have to do the webinar. We do it for you. Now, because
Right.
It's done through MIRMA, of course, no names are mentioned, no websites, no phone numbers. It's always pointing at the end of the webinars back to you, the person who invited the doctor or the office manager to the webinar. And so this is how we help you find those clients that are out there, Mohammed. We don't give you doctors. If we had doctors ready to sign up, we wouldn't need licensees. We wouldn't need your license fee. Or if we did, it would be about $100,000 if we had doctors that we could just give to you. But instead, we help you get those doctors through things like the Done For You webinars.
If you're doing your due diligence and you're looking at ABS and any other company out there, ask them, will they do a webinar for you to the level at what we are doing these webinars for you? And imagine, there's just nobody that can touch what we're doing, because again, we're delivering experts, subject matter experts in the fields of whether it's HIPAA, whether it's telehealth, whether it is coding, whether it's billing, whatever it might be. We're doing these webinars for you every other month, so it gives you plenty enough time for you to go out and market, send out postcards. We've already got postcards built for this stuff. I mean, it is truly, we are making it as best as a turnkey business opportunity for you as possible.
Yeah, and Eric, it's funny because two questions just came in from two different people, but it's the same question basically. How long is the training? How long does the training take? Folks, it's real simple. At the end, I'm going to go into detail about this, but Folks, we basically base this on your schedule since it's done through this technology that you're seeing right here today, GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar. We do this one-on-one with a live instructor who's certified by MIRMA, and they do the training one-on-one with you and your spouse or partner if you have somebody that wants to attend with you. Those are set according to your schedule, and usually people can complete this entire training. There's an illustration of it right there on the screen in about 30 days or less. It just depends on your schedule because it's based on your actual schedule. People, there's 8 modules, each one 60 to 90 minutes, and there's 2 or 3 of those usually done per week because you do have some homework in between. So you can learn this whole system, folks, and get up to speed and get your business going within 30 days.
But also let me remind you as well, that's not the end of your training, because there's, again, just on the licensee support side alone, there's over 100 hours of in-depth training, and we have these weekly or every other week ongoing training webinars that happen on just about every Friday morning. We're pushing out. I mean, what did we do last Friday? How to market in a COVID world or something like that.
Right, marketing in a socially distancing world.
Yeah. How to work your warm market in this social distancing world. And so, folks, we're keeping very relevant to the issues of what's going on out there. So you're not going to get left behind. And then, Patrick, you also mentioned Dr. Vicki Rackner. I mean, this again, we're just layering on everything that can help you build your business.
Yeah, folks, there's nothing like a doctor hearing from another doctor. So what we did is we partnered with a doctor who was a general surgeon for many, many years, saw thousands of patients, and then she semi-retired and got into consulting, helping people like you, financial planners and other people who want to connect with doctors, teaching them how to market to doctors. So when we ran across Dr. Vicki, we immediately partnered with her. I wrote a book with her, that one that you see up there at the top of the screen there, the middle one, The New Thriving Medical Practice. This is one of several tools that we've got developed for you where you partner with Dr. Vicki Rackner. She even writes you an introductory letter to introduce you to the doctors in your area. Folks, again, it does not get any better from a credibility standpoint than to be associated with a doctor. There's another one that's in the works right now. 9 ways that physicians in private practice let money slip through their fingers. Eric, it's all about the cash flow for doctors nowadays, isn't it?
It actually is. And again, you kind of talked about how we help brand you. One of the ways in which American Business Systems will help brand your brand is by having you as the author of the foreword to this book. So again, think about what we've just done. We're not just selling you some medical billing educational service. We are a true training and support business opportunity, which means we are helping you brand your brand new business. And one of those ways that we help you really brand your business is by having you write the foreword to the book, which we already have a template that you can just use right out of the box if you want to. Or again, you write your own. We'll kind of help make sure that it's what needs to be said. And then, Patrick, their name goes on the front of the book.
Again, from a credibility standpoint, folks, it does not get any better. We've had licensees give these books out to doctors. We'll show you how to get them in the hands of the doctors in your area, selected doctors. And when you do, the doctors think, because your name is on the front cover with a doctor, that you're partnered with them in such a way that they can trust whatever it is that you're going to say to them about this business. So again, Eric, nobody else has anything close to this. That's right.
Patrick, what are these little yellow tab things here on the side of this book?
Well, when we teach you in our training what to do with this book, one of the things we teach you is how to mark certain passages in the book that will get the doctor's attention. So rather than give a doctor just a book that they probably just would lay on their desk or on their shelf and not read it, we have them all tabbed, as you can see, with these little sticky tabs. You can get it Home Staples, and inside the book are highlighted passages. So the doctor turns to those tabs and sees the highlighted passages. And we've had licensees give this book out like this, Eric. Doctors will call them up the next day and say, hey, I just flipped through your book and I saw some things that probably apply. I probably need your help. Can you come do that free practice analysis that you talk about in the book? It's just it's an ingenious idea. Whoever thought of this, Eric, is a genius.
Let's see. Oh, it's my co-host.
Well, me and Dr. Vicky Rackner did come up with this idea. And folks, it's just been a door opener like you just would not believe. You can't have this credibility without something like a personalized book like this.
So Gene's asking the question, there may be other medical billing businesses out there in the market. What are some specific things that ABS could make selling points for doctors? Well, one is, what if you could show them how to make an additional $25,000 to $30,000 a month, without even changing their billing?
No, without changing hardly anything.
Yes.
Eric, in fact, these contacts with the patients that Medicare pays for can be done by a nurse practitioner or a physician's assistant. It doesn't have to be the doctor, him or herself. So they literally can put somebody in an office with a computer that has a webcam and a microphone and let them stay in contact with those patients. See, folks, this saves Medicare money. That's why they're willing to pay the doctor for these visits. It saves them money because it keeps the patients well. And if they're in contact with somebody at the doctor's office on a regular basis, they're going to take their medication on time. They're going to follow their instructions. They're going to let them know if there's anything that they need to see that would be a crisis of some kind. So that's just a wonderful program that's been set up. So yes, Gene, there's one of many. Now we've done webinars, whole webinars on this topic. What are your advantages in the marketplace? I encourage you to go to our YouTube channel, and I'll show it here later on one of the slides, youtube.com/YABS, and just watch some of our previous webinars, and you'll see that there's many things that give you an advantage out there in the marketplace. Yes.
Steve, I'm going to keep going on because make sure that we don't run out of time in answering all these questions. But Steve's asking, what is the average amount of time it takes to sign your first doctor after training? You know, Patrick, that's really a hard one to answer, because we can't come out and say you're going to sign up your first doctor in 6 weeks, because that's not realistic, and it may not be realistic in where we are with COVID-19 either.
Well, and it also depends on the person. You know, are you going to be working the business full time or part time? Do you have anybody helping you? Have you hired sales reps to help you? Are you following all of the different 9 marketing tools that we have, or methods, when we go through the training? If you're doing the things we teach you to do, folks, we have seen licensees sign up their first doctor in the first 30 days, but then others have taken 6 months to get their first doctor. It really doesn't matter, folks, if you take even 6 months. If you think about it from a cash flow standpoint, it might make a difference to you. But once you've got that client making $25,000 to $35,000 a year, all you need to do is just repeat that same process and get the second client, and then of course get referrals from those doctors, which will help your business grow automatically. So it all depends on the individual. It's just like the weight loss ads, Steve. Some people are going to lose 20 pounds the first month, and other people will take 6 months but they're still happy that they lost the 20 pounds.
That's exactly correct. You bet. And you know, we've been talking about the books, the done for you webinars, the partnership with Dr. Rackner, and I love this. And if that wasn't all, there's more to come, because we really do have more to talk with you about. And we've got about 19 more minutes here, Patrick, to kind of get through all of this. And again, we've shown you these services, but Patrick, on top of that, the licensees, when they join us, they get what we're showing you as professionally printed marketing material, or what you would call marketing collateral.
Yes, and by the way, all of these can be printed with your name and logo on them. Not that you run them through a printer. We have a professional printer that will print your name and logo on these as a part of your licensing package. That's all included, folks. Over 2,000 marketing pieces. These have been designed and tested and proven to be very useful marketing tools. Eric, why don't we quickly just touch on some of them, and how many of them you want to pick out there is up to you, of course.
Well, I know that we've been kind of talking about telehealth, but it's just right in our faces, and it's one of the newest ones we have, and we've just got this release. Patrick, I hadn't even seen this until you put it in the slide deck today. This is pretty cool about what we're able to do. And again, folks, if you can see what's happening here, it's increasing practice revenue and improving patient satisfaction. Telehealth is here today, folks. It's not going anywhere.
Right. All right, Eric, why don't we jump to the code right? The next one that we talk about there's something a little bit of help. Here it is. This is a service that you can offer to doctors, folks, that we have certified professional coders. If you're wondering about the codes, you don't have to know the codes because they're all built into our system. And the doctor is supposed to be giving you the codes. Now, if they're not sure, we have certified coders that can do everything for you, working with the doctor through a HIPAA compliant system. Your doctors are provided with detailed reports on the codes that are needed for maximum reimbursement. We can improve, like it says there on the flyer, Eric, reimbursement rates up to 30% with the use of this one service alone.
And if doctors are seeing Medicare patients, believe me, they're being audited by Medicare. If not in once or twice in their lifetime, could be 5 or 6 or 8 times, and it could be even more than that. But you know, doctors' offices are under the Medicare microscope, and it's good to have what we call a preventative audit done. This is what Audit Guard does, and it reviews all of the doctor's documents, their charts, to make sure that there's no possible coding errors. Now, again, think about this. You join ABS today, you don't know one thing about codes, but yet at the end of the day, you would be the expert because you have Audit Guard as one of your services.
Right. It takes all the fear away, and doctors really appreciate the fact that they've got somebody who's watching their back, so to speak. Eric, Medicare can fine a doctor up to $10,000 per error that they find in their coding. This guards them against that, and so it's a really, it's almost like an insurance policy for doctors on their Medicare audits.
Yes, absolutely. Then you got Quick Collect. Now, remember earlier I mentioned to you about revenue generating services, and that's what this is. This is money that is owed to the doctor already. So instead of the doctor trying to figure out how, and really, that's why a lot of doctors are struggling right now, because they're so far behind in trying to collect their uncollectibles. What it was that Dr. Rackner said the other day, that she ran across a doctor that had $1 million worth of accounts receivables.
Right. Eric, what happens is the doctors don't want to mess with this. They don't want to go after that money, and so they just let it stack up. Theoretically, at the end of the year, for tax purposes, they can write some of that off. But believe me, they'd rather have that money in their bank account. And so, folks, this is not a collection agency. You don't do any collecting. You don't do any phone calls. This is an automated online system that does this for the doctor, and it collects way more than any collection agency could ever collect. It's a fantastic service. I wish we could go into more detail on all these, Eric. But then there's Choice Pay. Folks, sometimes people don't, that don't have insurance, don't have a way to pay the doctor, and they can't afford certain procedures because they don't have the money in the bank. This is designed to collect and process the patient's out-of-pocket payments quickly and cost-effectively based on how the patient can pay. So again, can't go into too much detail there, but believe me, that's a service that every doctor's office needs.
And whether a doctor has...
Eric, we use this, as you know, in our office. If people came to our office right now and asked to see the file cabinets, they wouldn't see any because we don't have any paper in our office. It's all scanned immediately as it comes in up to the cloud in our secure HIPAA compliant system that stores medical documents completely safely. You can scan them, search them, retrieve them. Several people can be looking at the same document at the same time. It is a wonderful system, and it has a workflow built in for our licensees that they just absolutely love. Tim Warren uses this, Eric, and he says this is one of the best things we have to offer for licensees. Again, I wish we could go into every one of these folks. You can read about them more on our website there, absystems.com.
And folks, you saw earlier, we did a a done for you webinar on HIPAA compliancy. And so you can see we can take any of our services and roll out a done for you webinar. And so we're seeing some of our clients that they don't do billing for some doctors, but they're doing their compliancy for their HIPAA for doctors' offices. And guess what's happening? They're building relationships with these doctors. And then obviously the closer you get with the doctor, the more freely they're able to talk with you, because again, you're helping them in some of these areas. And this may not be money generating, but it is money saving for sure.
Yes. Okay, Eric. Wow. We got through a lot there today. We still have time to answer a lot of questions here too. So I want to address a couple of them here, and
Sure.
then we'll go into our online training if anybody's interested in enrolling with that. Here's a question from Mohammed. If I act as the owner and the marketing lead, will I need a license if I choose to hire a team of medical coders? And will they need licensure? Now, first of all, Mohammed, remember, you won't need coders. What you may be referring to are people who can actually do the medical billing filing of the claims. Yes, you can hire those people, and no, they do not have to be licensed. That's all a part of your training as to how to find and hire those people. In fact, if you want to do that, some licensees do all the billing themselves, others hire people. We'll show you how to find those people and get them up to train speed. And no, they don't have to have any license to do that at all. They're just under your license, basically. So they don't need to be licensed at all.
Yes, Norma, that was correct. $1 million in accounts receivable. That it truly is amazing.
Yeah,
Patrick, let's take a little bit of time here while some other questions are coming in, and let's talk about the 100% money back guarantee. Why don't you talk about that for a little bit, and then we can get into some of the how they can get involved with the online training.
Yeah, folks, we came up with this guarantee just a few years ago because I told my staff, look, if we do what we say we're going to do, people should see that. They should understand it after they've gone through the training and be just thrilled to move forward with their own business. If for some reason they don't think this is the right business for them, why would we want to keep their money?
Right.
Let's just offer their money, 100% of their money back. And that's what we do, Eric. People ask, how do we do that? How would you stay in business? Well, it's because we don't have many people ask for their money back. And in 26 years, we've only had a handful, and that's very specialized reasons why they ask for their money back. One guy had invested in our business, Eric. I remember he was from Dallas. He came over here to Fort Worth for the training when we were doing it live here in a hotel, and he did not tell his wife that he had spent the money on the license. Well, she found some paperwork on his desk while he was out of town. He told her he was just on a conference, he goes on these business trips all the time. And she found that paperwork and said, you either come home with that money or don't come home. So we have given people money back, folks, but it's not what you would think. It's not like they go, oh gosh, this is a scam. If that were true, we couldn't stay in business and we wouldn't have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. So it is a 100% money back guarantee. Now, folks, here's why that's important. Any other business opportunity that you invest this kind of money, almost $30,000, right? Our license fee is $28,000. When you invest that kind of money, if a company does not have the confidence that they have something worthwhile and can offer a money back guarantee, you should run the other way as fast as you can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, so let's talk about real quickly about the online training, folks. We used to have, as Patrick said, we used to have live training, and imagine what that would have done for our business in this middle of the COVID pandemic of what happened here.
Yeah, nobody wants to get on a plane. Nobody wants to stay in a hotel with other people at this point. So, folks, this was about last part of last year. We started doing virtual training, which means it's still live with an instructor. Now, Eric, these instructors, of course, happen to be licensees who've been through the training and who've been certified by MERMA, the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. These instructors are one-on-one, just like you see illustrated on that computer screen there. Can you see up in the upper right-hand corner? That's the webcam of the instructor. And you, as the person sitting at your desk here, you're just watching the instructor go over the slides that she presents there on the screen. Now, Eric, I don't know how to emphasize how really cool this is, because you could be in a classroom with 20 other people and you could ask questions, but some of those questions by other people might not be questions that you even care about.
Right.
You might even think some of them are not very, very good questions. So with this, it's just you and the instructor. Now, you can have a spouse and or partner who attends these trainings with you. Folks, we don't charge anything extra as long as they're on the same session that you're on with the instructor. And so you can have other people attend that training along with you and go through that one-on-one with them too. But it's really cool, Eric. It's 8 modules, like I said. That would be probably 8 to 15 hours of training. But that's just the beginning, because once you finish this training, you have access to that website we showed earlier, our licensee support website that has over 100 hours of other training. Again, not essential stuff, but detailed information on all of the things that you go through in these 8 initial training modules.
So let's now talk about what your next steps are. Patrick, we've got a downloadable research guide. You want to tell them how they can get a hold of that?
Yeah, now folks, we ask that you get back with the person who invited you to this webinar. We call them your business development rep here at ABS. There's what that research guide looks like. It's over 50 pages of information, unlike anything that you'll see on our website. We keep this just for people who are serious about getting a business started. Now, folks, that means if you haven't set aside the funding, the $28,000 to start your own business, or have credit maybe on your credit card or cards, if you don't have people that you know that could loan you some money, for example, to get your own business started, there's no reason to order this guide. You don't need to know any more details other than, how do I come up with money? So if you haven't saved money for a business, you need to work on that very first thing. But if you're fairly certain that you can get some funding for your business, then order this guide. It will give you the details you need to do your due diligence on the business. That's the first step.
The second step is to go to our YouTube channel. I mean, Patrick, you already mentioned that earlier too. I'm going to show a slide of what that looks like.
Yeah, folks, we have, gosh, Eric, I think there's over 170 interviews that I've done with some of our graduates over the years. They're all there under playlists, I think. One of the playlists is our testimonials and interviews. But there's dozens and dozens, maybe hundreds of other videos on the webinars that you and I have done over the past, what, Eric, like you said, 10, 12 years we've been doing these?
Yeah.
So you can certainly do a lot of research here, folks, and learn a lot more about the business by just watching some of those videos. And hey, play them, it's, twice double speed. Eric sounds kind of like Mickey Mouse, but you can listen to him fast.
At least I've been sucking helium.
Right. And then, folks, we have lists of other owners, people like yourself who've already gone through our training. We call them licensees or owners. They own their own business now, and you can call and talk with them. That's looks something like this. Actually, we have several pages of those references. Again, folks have just volunteered to take calls from people like yourself who want to know the facts. Hey, Eric and I can tell you anything on these webinars we want to, right? You don't have to believe us. Call the people who've actually been through the training and ask them about it.
And then sign up and do a demonstration of the iClaim EMRX platform. Patrick, this is a great way to kind of, kick the tires and hop in the driver's seat and kind of take it for a spin. This is the best thing to do.
Yeah, people who buy from one of our competitors sells software. They won't tell you this anywhere on their website, by the way, Eric. They've taken anything off about the fact that it comes on a CD. Yeah. And you load it onto your hard drive in your computer. You know what? My iMac computer here doesn't even have a hard drive. So that's not the future, folks. But ours is truly cloud-based. So rather than send you a CD, we literally log in with you using GoToMeeting, like this technology we're using here today. One-on-one, we'll sit with you and spend half an hour or more, whatever you need, to answer all your questions about our software and show it to you in detail. Eric, I think this sells a lot of people on our opportunity because they see the difference between a true cloud-based system and server-based software like this.
Well, again, to take advantage of all the new technology that's coming out again with telehealth or the audit guard and everything else. Every service that we have is a cloud-based service.
Right.
It would be kind of foolish to not have a cloud-based service for your billing platform when everything else is going that way. That's just where it is. So,
Yeah.
and then actually, last thing to do is review the purchase agreement and get your funding going.
Right, and folks, it's a very simple agreement, by the way, as you can see, just 4 pages there. Very simple, nothing legalese about it, although you're welcome to pass it by an attorney or a friend, a partner. This is very straightforward, folks. Basically, we're selling you an opportunity, and the guarantee, by the way, is in the agreement, in writing, so you can be sure that you'd be able to get your money back if for some reason you didn't think this was the right business. It basically says, for any reason, you can get your money back within the 30 days of purchasing. Okay, well, folks, thanks for being here. I hope we see you at one of our online training sessions coming up soon. Those fill up very quickly this time of year, especially. So if you think that this is for you and you think you can get the funding and you're ready to do some more due diligence or make some calls to some of our other owners, that's fine. But get back with your ABS rep and tell them, I want to get booked for my first training session, to lock that in, because those will fill up very quickly. And if you can't get one for another 2 or 3 weeks, then it's that much longer before you can actually get started. So the sooner you can sign up for one of those, the better. Just get back with us at that email address. Thank you, Eric, for putting this together today, and we'll see you next week.
Very good. Y'all have a great week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.